Hello YouTube, I am Shaggy, I am Phil Alitea, and I am cooling my heels, chillin' in Panera. I guess I'm waiting on my computer to recharge because I messed up and didn't get it all the way charged. I didn't have it charging while I was streaming earlier, and so now it's just freaking out. Okay, Sharon, I get it. Hey, what's up, OPM? How you doing, buddy? Congrats to your Pats. Still got work to do, though. Yeah, I'm sure you're very good right now. Shoulders are tight. Ouch. I probably did the thing I shouldn't have done again and stimulated myself intellectually before I went live. I tend to wake up and stimulate myself intellectually, and then because I don't have food money, I haven't eaten today, so I'm just not talkative. My belly's not full, so I'm not just a energetic, yammering, happy person right now. Rachel left, and my life is just in a malaise of disinterest, trying to dive into something to hold my interest and just cannot find support for it anywhere I look. It's not true. That's not entirely true. Can't find new support for it. Trying to build, trying to build a new audience, new supporters. I gotta replace her income, frankly. She provided an income for the channel, so I didn't have to look to the audience for it. She supported the channel financially, and that meant food. And now that I'm not supported by her, I can't eat like I could when she was insisting I eat multiple meals a day. And so yeah, I'm doing a lot of despair staring. I feel it. I'm aware of it. Nothing doing about it right now. We just push on. We push ahead. I didn't even see where I got it from. I'm doing alright, Breakfast at Tiffany's. How are you? I'm hungry. I'm not cold anymore, though. I'm not in the tent. But I'm alright. Sharon, my laptop, is giving me a lot of trouble today. So that's not great. But you know, it is what it is. How are you doing? It's good to be seen by you. Good to hear that you're doing alright, you guess. Mm. Yeah, she's just struggling today. She's slow. It's like she's spending the winter outside or something. It's okay. I just haven't eaten today, so remaining patient and not getting upset about it is more difficult than normal days. We push on. Yeah, I didn't double check that I had her plugged in either, so I let her get down to about 15% battery before I realized that I had left her not plugged in. Not a big deal. She is. She's a badass. She'll be just fine. I'm legitimately surprised that my um, audio interface hasn't gotten fucked up from all the cold either. It's working just fine. I sound, does it say? I sound fantastic? Yeah, that's why and so I'm looking over at the screen because I'm actually dicking around on Brotato right now on my laptop. I could put that up on the screen, but she's moving slow, and so I'm used to broadcasting from my phone. I'm using my phone to monitor the chat, and so I've trained myself to look at the phone when I'm talking to you guys, but you're actually right here right now. And I'm doing that because the mic on my laptop is way better than on my phone. And if I use my phone, um, it's gonna pick up all the music here in Panera, and then I won't be able to monetize. So I won't get credit for any watch hours I do get. I won't get credit if I'm using my phone, but using the laptop, I at least get I generate cents per minute while people are watching. Pennies per minute, but it's pennies. Pennies I didn't have, if you understand what I mean. And I spent last winter. I've been really trying to fight the urge to do it. Just sit here and do that instead. Um, but I spent last winter stacking pennies in pay to play mobile games. So it's not something that I can't do, not something I haven't done. Uh, and whether it's obvious or not, it's still an extension of what the channel is about. Um, Not necessarily stacking pennies, but if we're stacking .01 enough times, we'll get to 1, and then we'll get to 2, and then we'll get to a million. And so that's the point. I was making about I was making about $20 a week that way. I was able to eat for a week at Taco Bell for $3 a day that way. But it's not a lifestyle that I'm looking forward to going back to. I'm just really not looking forward to going back into that Taco Bell, to be honest with you. And knowing that I can't just do a mobile order and them, hi Trey, I see you. Knowing that I can't just do a mobile order and then them have it fucking ready by the time I walk up there, so I can just get my food and walk back to my tent. Just the whole Taco Bell situation pisses me off. Just everything about that store upsets me, and so I'm just trying to avoid it. But Panera and um, Pizza Cottage and Wingstop are just more expensive. Just is what it is. So it works. Um, but like $20 a month. I haven't been back to the Taco Bell and it's probably been about 2 weeks. You don't owe me an apology. You don't owe me any. You don't owe me being sorry for anything. You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't wronged or harmed me in any way. It's just more expensive. Yeah, I can eat at. I ate last night at Wingstop, and I was able to get a bottle of water. On it was like $13, so just call it $15. That's not bad. And I don't have to get the large fry, but the large fry is what I want. I want those carbs to sit in my belly because that's what actually burns to keep me warm at night. So lots of potato in my belly and stay warm, and the chicken tenders are protein. They were really good last night though, so I'm not bitching. It's just the difference in $3 and $13 adds up a lot faster. And again, I'm not making this anybody's problem. This is my choice. I'm still challenging myself. I can live this way. I can make this work. I'm good enough. I'm smart enough. Some days are just more difficult and more about reminding myself that even if I feel like I was watching an interview with Rich Eisen yesterday, he was talking to Jerry Rice because Bill Belichick. I don't know if you watch football or if you even give a shit, but Bill Belichick is. It's been announced that he did not make it as a first ballot Hall of Famer, and that's a crying shame, as they say. And so Rich was talking to a bunch of Hall of Famers yesterday, and he got Jerry Rice on and was talking with Jerry Rice, and he was talking about it how he still doesn't feel like he believed or belonged in the NFL because he wasn't a naturally gifted athlete. He had to work for everything he got, and so it's not that it put a chip on his shoulder. It just put that extra effort into everything he did that nothing he ever did, no plateau he ever reached was ever good enough. I talk about this a lot. Um, as regards myself. So like it's like I make a good video or I do a video that does all right. I could make that video again, or I could figure out how to put myself into an uncomfortable position and do something even better next time, even if it takes me longer to build up to it. Um, I don't remember why I even brought this up. I think it was just to say that the feeling like you don't belong there, even if I feel like Jerry Rice that I just really do not belong on the internet. I just really do not belong on YouTube. I am not like the other people doing the thing I'm doing. You've watched a ridiculous amount of my shorts. That's something I need to go back to doing. It's just so cold. It's so cold. Uh, Breath. And I rarely feel like I have anything to say. That's kind of what I was building to. Even if I feel like I don't belong here because I don't have anything to say, I have to keep coming here because I'm not like anybody else. There's nobody else doing anything remotely like what I'm doing. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to spend my days scrolling for the person making the material I'm making, or am I just going to sit here and figure out how to make it for myself? And so here we are. A sort of post-despair defiance. Thank you. That's a compliment to me that I'm nothing like any other streamer. I am trying to do something different. I'm a different person. I'm just a different kind of person than those people are. Most of those people have college educations, and if they don't, they're trying to fit in with some crowd that identify by some intellectual behavior. So they have a script of words that they can say. They have things that they can pre-believe. People can come to them and they can hear these things that they're saying that are scripted. Um, they can ask questions looking for the things that they're supposed to believe, and they can feel a certain level of instantaneous comfort with those content creators. And I am just not that guy, and I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not trying to give the impression that I am. Like if I'm going to talk about Final Fantasy VIII, what another creator would do is sit down and record every second of them playing 100 hours of Final Fantasy VIII, and then they would go through and they would edit it, and they would edit it after writing a script of what they wanted to say. So they would pour 40 to 100 hours into the script, and then they're going to pour another 40 to 100 hours into editing the video. And when they're done, they're going to say, "Look, I have completed project." I'm just not going to do that. First of all, I need the immediate money. I don't have the Patreon subs so that I can do that. I don't have um, I don't have the income being generated. Even when I was working a 40-hour job, I didn't have the time. The thing is, a lot of these people, the reason they have these 40-hour sequences to develop or to devote to their work is that they're lying about the number of hours that they're working for a corporation. They're working fewer than 40 hours a week. This is how they can justify the time. They're working between 15 and 30 hours a week. They're part-time, and so with their part-time jobs, they're able to provide enough but so they can get a roommate, or they have a girlfriend or a wife, or they still live with their parents, and they use that 15 to 30 hours a week to spend the money they need on the startup cost and the food necessary to spend another 40 to 100 hours on this video that they're dumping out a week. They're not actually as busy as they say they are, and so they're able to throw more hours at the project than it deserves. I did a whole 2-hour video about this, just absolutely freaking the fuck out about being scammed for years by H Bomber Guy's work flow. How do I want to say it? His setup, his workflow, his time management. So this isn't an opinion that I've had for a short amount of time. It's an opinion that got me started. Once I realized how these people were managing their time and how they were able to do what they were doing, I let myself become homeless, and here we are. Let's just do it. Okay, be well, breakfast. I don't love that you're hurting. Be well. There are a lot of things I feel, a lot of observations that I've made that I just can't speak. I can't voice. Not allowed. But I have noticed that it is the hurting and the dying who notice me. it's unethical to build an income off of that. It's evil. And I will not do things that I know are evil. That's why I'm here. That's what truth means. I won't do things that I know are evil, and I won't do things without looking them in the eye first. It's like you might notice that the characters that I like in video games tend to be melee characters, and the way I play tends to be up close and personal. Because if I'm going to destroy you, I'm going to do it to your face where you can see it. I'm not going to sneak around behind you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie about you to myself. But I get it. I've written this. If you would just fall in love with me, the me who is visible in my writing, instead of the me who is visible under my mustache, you would already know these things about me. They're there. They're there to be seen. I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying I've done the work, right? Like I've done the writing. I've got so many hundreds, maybe thousands of hours now of videos. So if I'm still trying to prove to myself that I belong, I don't. So who am I proving it to? Who does my work become for? Like, I know the answer for who my work is for. It's not even about who it becomes for. I know who my work is for. My work is for the future audience. My work is for the Patreon audience that I have in the future that allow me to support myself without relying on the sick and the dying or the love and adoration of a woman, that allow me to just cloister up in a tiny apartment and just let me work. Put me to work. That's who the work is for. The work is for Mr. S. The work is for the friends of Eric and Lenny that we find along the way. I'm just gonna sit here and make myself cry. I'm not unhappy about that. I just get tired of hearing myself say the same things. I get tired of hearing myself repeat myself because it's for the future audience, and I would get tired of hearing me repeat it if I were in my audience. I would get frustrated with going, still? He still has to keep saying this to people? But it's okay. Because you're out there. I was able to I was able to put myself to sleep without the panic attacks last night. I spent a big part of the day yesterday really worried about that. Going to bed hungry, I'm gonna have panic attacks. That's the thing. Belief is living as though the proposition were true. Now, I don't do belief propositions, but I can take it on faith, trusting the source of the information that you exist. I don't have that. I don't have a source of information that tells me that you exist. That the information that I receive, the messaging that I receive, is that you don't exist. That Mr. S is unique. And I just have to cope with that, is what the messaging is telling me. That's what all of the data says. So that can't be a faith prop. So I believe. I'll let you in on what I'm doing. Just so you can have the audio, if nothing else. Stop. Fuck. Put this just like that. Who gives a shit? Cover up my dirty ass hair. Put it right here in the middle, because I do have this. I have this set up for both. So, there you go. It's not covering my face, and you can watch it a little bit if you want. Makes you feel better. Should have eaten that bag of chips when I woke up. Nobody ever wants to know what I got upset about this morning. But what I got upset about this morning was that people want to act like magnetism is a mystery. I don't even fully know what's happening, and I know it's not a mystery. There's a channel I used to follow here on YouTube. Not necessarily because I liked it, but I liked I like the availability of the information, so I used to watch it. I think it's called Vsauce. I stopped watching him because he pisses me off. He has a high school level of understanding of the subject matter that he's discussing, but he can edit a video. I saw him and this astrophysicist, public educator, TikTok chick, redhead, moderately attractive, has a shitty attitude, knows that she's moderately attractive. They're in a podcast format. They're not on a short format. They're in a long form talky talk interview format where he is interviewing her for their clout chase. And he asks her, "So how do magnets actually work?" And she laughs. She gives him a sexy "don't ask me that" look. A sexy "oh, you turned me on with that question" look, which instantly means she doesn't know the answer. Instantly. Does not have the answer available. If she's got to rely on sexuality and charm to divert from the answer, she goes, "I could give you a fancy mathematical answer." But basically, it's all going to rely on you coming to a point of acceptance. And he goes, "Yeah, magnetism is just a fundamental force like gravity." Gravity is not a force. Gravity is not a fundamental anything. These idiots are using language that's hundreds of years old. I've explained gravity before for the channel. It's very simple. You just have to think about it like what you know about fluid. Space behaves like a fluid. The air in front of you is space. The space is occupied by stuff, but it is held together in large part by electricity. Gravity is an effect of that electricity, of that stuff being in the space. Space is geometry. It's a complex, incomprehensible, indescribable framework of sphere shaped at their source energies, whether they be electric or electromagnetic or atomic radiating. It's all the same. It's energy. Everything at every scale of existence is just energy at one speed of vibration or another. String theory wants it all to be strings, but it's more like drum heads. It's more like spherical drum heads. Like we know from the demon core, if you take enough plutonium and you get it active enough, ionized enough, you get the electrons, so the electricity within the atoms behaving in a certain way. The energy goes out in a sphere. all at once. I actually learned about the demon core from Vsauce. So he doesn't have no utility. But that's how radiating energies work. If you had two demon cores together and their energies collided, they're not going to collide in a two-dimensional sphere. It's not a radiating circle or a two-dimensional plane. It's not a radiating flat circle, because those don't exist. Even disks, the disk accretion around planets and black holes it's flat-ish, but it's not two-dimensional because the stuff in it is three-dimensional. It's only two-dimensional if you flatten it to a two-dimensional plane to image it. But you have the capability, if you practice, to imagine in 4 dimensions. If you were to imagine the planet the planet Earth as a loop around the sun, just a continuous the planet Earth that never stops, and a circuit around the sun, that's a four-dimensional image of the planet. Because the 4th dimension is just time. So for instance, you enter a hypercube, which is it's outside the 3-dimensional construct. It's a sphere, but imaged entirely in 4 dimensions. That 4th dimension. So over time, it's the change in a sphere over time as it moves in time and space, or just as it spins around. So if you enter it in one point in time, you're going to emerge it in another one that's not predictable from a 3-dimensional model. Space is what happens when all of those radiating energies collide and interact with one another. And so it has a shape, but the shape is changing over time. It's a 4-dimensional object. Space is not a 3-dimensional object. We measure it in 3 dimensions. Gravity is when you have more energy condensed and spinning. No, actually, it's just what happens when energy spins. Gravity is just what happens when energy spins. But matter, spinning matter, has gravity in that it displaces those energy fields. It displaces space. And the more matter that you have in that displacement, the more gravity you have. You think of it like water. If you put a dense object in water, it displaces the water. Space it behaves like a fluid. Everything goes to the paths of least resistances. When 2 shock waves hit one another, their ripples, as they collide and as they continue to try to expand, are going to do so in the paths of least resistance, even if that means ultimately becoming a flat disk and just pushing away at the point where they no longer meet. But the universe isn't 2 orbs. It's an infinitude of them. Because even the original nascent universe didn't all collide into one star. It became an incalculable number of stars at the early universe that all blew up to create lesser stars that kept doing this thing. We are in a fractal universe of fractals playing themselves out in a self-replicating fashion. It's not math. It's not mathematics. It's geometry. So as stuff spins, stuff gets pulled into it because they draw it as a flat displacement, right? And so there's this warpage that's happening. There's this bending and curvature around time and space. But that's not really what's happening. That's a good way to explain the math. It's a good way to begin the math. It's a good way to begin thinking about relativity. But that's exactly what Einstein did. He began thinking about relativity. He wrote a book. We haven't gone beyond beginning to think about relativity. It's not warping and stretching. Matter isn't. The energies themselves are already warping and stretching, and if they get things spinning in them because of a result of their expanding natures, their constant movement, the universe is constantly moving at any scale you choose. It's in constant cyclical motion. Your life is a cycle. Your life is a cycle 250,000 years old and longer. It creates void that draws the energy toward it because it becomes the path of least resistance. Gravity is only something you resist if you're trying to leave it. So we think about gravity wrong because we only began to conceptualize what gravity is even doing in order to leave the planet. Answering that stuff falls because the planet is denser and spinning at the center than it is away, that answers it for anybody. That's why apples fall toward the center of the planet, because the center of the planet is spinning and it's denser than that thing, so it draws it toward it. And then answering that, well, it's actually because time and space are doing this relative to you, and so but that doesn't really mean anything. That's just a good way to start thinking about it. It's a good way to completely misunderstand what's happening because you're taking it out of 4 dimensions and you're putting it into 2. And so if gravity is easy to explain and to conceptualize, I'm not trying to strip it down into third grader terms. I can, have, actually, if I really wanted to. I just didn't put it into third grade language or images because I don't feel like it. If that can be done, then it can be done for magnets too. I don't even fully understand what's going on with magnets. But I know that electrons behave in specific ways and that electricity generates magnetism because electricity is another one of those radiating fields. And I know that when a lot of a lot of electrons stack up on one side of a material object, static electricity discharges can happen when when the ionized atoms leap to their corresponding counterpart. So probably what's happening in magnets is that their atoms are fixed in place and can't leave, but they're also ionized in such a way that the positive, negative ions are on one side of the thing, and the negative ones are on the other side of the thing, and that any atoms, any energy that responds to the polarity on the one side is going to respond to that polarity, and any atom that responds to the polarity on the other is going to respond. And then it's just about how strong, how much electricity we're talking about. But ultimately, it's just electricity. And that's not a sexy science answer. That's an answer so simple it's boring. And so I've had a feeling for a while that science is still resting on the laurels of effectively being magic from the perspective of the 18th century, and that getting an undergrad or even a master's. Oh fuck! Did I just? Oh, it doesn't matter. I have 4 curse anyway. Getting an undergrad or a master's level education it's really just letting small children, intellectual children, peek behind the curtain of the wizard, the great Wizard of Oz, and the reason that they can be so successful on YouTube as public educators, even Carl Sagan, the reason they can be so successful is because any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And if you don't understand the basics of spherical geometries, if you don't understand the basics of fluid dynamics, if you don't understand the basics of thermodynamics, if you don't understand the basics of the way the world works around you, in front of you, as you were educated on your way to third grade, there's no hope for you. The best that could ever you could ever hope for is to be mystified by a peek behind the curtain. And so, like I said, about building an audience of the people who notice me, and those people being on their way to the grave, you can't ethically build an audience teaching people how to properly think about the universe as we understand it on paper. I cannot build an audience telling them that university is the starting point. Starting at, well, we have this fancy mathematical answer. That's the start. The where these mathematics, where these schools at the universities end teaching you is where the investigation begins. But I'm the one who's hungry. Because tenure is a real thing. And nobody's actually coming to YouTube to have their mind blown open. No, you have to be wearing the robe of the modern wizard. I have to be wearing tweed, and I have to be in a tacky cliche university library office. Have no choice. Or I cannot get credibility. Because it's easier to believe that I am incredible because I don't have the tenure and I don't have the office provided to me by someone in power. And so it's just easier to look away. And I get it. I'm not even bitter about it. And so when she says that it comes down to acceptance, Michael, that blackboard tricks are something that hookers do for money, what she's saying is that she can't reduce it down to terms that someone without her education can understand. Because she doesn't understand. She was able to pass the class, but the thing is, an American university education isn't Oxford. It's not a European university education. You don't actually have to know all of the material. You have to demonstrate familiarity with the material. You can graduate with whatever grade and whatever actual engagement with whatever your subject matter is of your degree that you choose. Graduating with a D minus is exactly the same as graduating, um, what is it, cum sum laude or whatever. You don't have to know the material any better than your teachers. And in fact, they would prefer that you didn't know it better, because then they would have to know it better. But I'm the bad guy. I'm the problem. I'm the one we turn away from because he's not entertaining. I get it. But what do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do? You want me to just give up? You want me to just go back to a path I know doesn't work for me? What do you want me to do? And what are you willing to give me to make me do it? So yeah, I get upset about it. It's difficult to manage my emotions on an empty stomach for sure. Eight o'clock is a long way away. you, Rachel. Mm-mm. I'm gonna die. think you mean you're the asset. Commodities depreciated over time. This guy goes, I'm the one who's the commodity, you know? I'm the one who's got the thing. Mm, that makes you an asset, idiot. He's too old not to know the difference. Oh, I messed up. Ooh. Gonna get something to eat after. Either I win this or I die after this run. And then I'm gonna do something else. Ow. Sharon's not freaking out like she was. Uh-oh. I got one of them and didn't realize it. Okay, well, fuck it. Just get this win. Maybe Final Fantasy VIII next? Because we got narrative stuff to do. Oh, no. Okay, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. All right, well, let's get something to eat.